I'm Jamey Applegate, Senior Director of DEI at Equity at Work, and this is your DEI Minute, your go-to podcast for leaders looking to navigate the ever-evolving landscape of diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. Whether you're just starting out with DEI or looking to sustain your long-term successes, each episode will provide you with the actions you can take to move DEI forward at your organization, all in 15 minutes or less. Join us every other week as we break through the noise and help you do DEI right. Let's get to it.
Before we get started, this is Michelle Pfefferman, and I'm really excited to let you know that my new book, Do DEI Right, is now available. This is your guide to the Equity at Work maturity model, which shows leaders how to make DEI part of every day and drive great results. You can get your copy through the link in the show notes or wherever books are sold.
Today's episode is about politics in the workplace. Before we get started, I want to note that we are recording this episode on Wednesday, January 28th, and that means that the United States is still reeling from multiple people being killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis. So while everyone has their own unique perspective about what is happening in the United States right now, the two larger trends in opinion fall along political lines, with those on the conservative right expressing that ICE raids are good to combat illegal immigration, and that anyone who gets in the way of federal agents is bringing consequences up to and including death on themselves, and those on the more progressive left expressing that the ICE raids are authoritarian, unconstitutional, and illegal abuses of state power, and that deaths at the hands of ICE are murder. So the temperature of the conversation is really high, and it shows no signs of cooling down. We even see Republicans and Democrats arguing about who is responsible for escalating the rhetoric, so it turns into this meta argument. We have seen in the last couple of days a little bit of a shift to tone down the rhetoric. We've seen some folks pulled out of Minneapolis, some ICE agents pulled out, and some leaders pulled out. So hopefully it continues to sort of go on that trend line. But we are seeing a ton of very intense conversation and discussion and actions related to ICE and immigration. And that is reflective of our extremely polarized society. While this issue related to ICE raids and immigration might be sort of cooling for the moment, I would argue that our society is only getting more and more polarized. So at this point, it feels correct to say that two people with different political beliefs might not even feel like they live in the same reality. I've seen people watch the videos of the killings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy and come to wildly different conclusions about what happened. So a question that I think about in our work is, how do we navigate politics in the workplace? The short answer is it's very complicated. Organizations today are in a tricky position of being both entities in their own right. They are expected to take positions about a variety of topics and for a variety of reasons. And they are also communities. They are expected to be places in which people with diverse viewpoints and experiences, both political and not political, can come together and work towards common priorities and goals. These can be conflicting priorities. It puts organizations in a very challenging spot. When we take an organizational position, what happens if some customers, partners, or stakeholders disagree with that position? What happens if some employees feel differently? How can we both take an organizational position and be a welcoming community where people with diverse beliefs and perspectives can succeed? The long answer is to walk the tightrope and do both. Clearly communicate the organization's position on issues that impact the company, its people, and its communities, and clearly articulate that employees with diverse political viewpoints are welcome members of the organizational community. So let's dig a little deeper. Here are some best practices for navigating politics in the workplace. Number one, repeat over and over again the organization's priorities. Organizations are both entities that take positions and communities in which diverse groups of people come together. Say this in every communication over and over again, and I mean that in terms of both internal and external communications. Number two, acknowledge reality, and I mean this in two ways. First, acknowledge that the priorities we just mentioned can be at odds. Sometimes the organization will take a stance that is at odds with various stakeholders. As a large entity, it cannot possibly be everything to everyone. Trying to be something for everyone will end up being nothing for everyone. Second, acknowledge facts and communicate truths. With the example of the killing of Alex Preddy, there is no evidence that he was posing a threat to ICE agents. The myriad videos of his death show that he was defenseless when he was shot in the back and that he was then shot over and over again. There is no need to signal to or genuflect to quote-unquote differing opinions on what we can all see with our own eyes. Facts matter. The truth matters. We should just rely on that. Number 3, politics is everywhere. Talk about it. What I mean there is that organizations should communicate, especially internally, their positions on current events, including a discussion of what is factual, how it impacts the organization, its people, its stakeholders, and its communities, and what the organization is doing in response. It doesn't mean to stand up new things just to feel like you're doing something. It can be as small as reminding folks that the employee assistance program is available for folks who want to talk through what they're experiencing. But it also means that organizations should communicate that employees are encouraged to engage each other about what is happening in the world, including in the political realm. And they should encourage folks to be politically active, to engage in the civic process, like campaigning for causes that they are passionate about and voting. Bonus points for organizations that give folks paid time off to vote, or give employees the entire day off for election day. But number 4, set ground rules for political discussions. Politics is messy and complicated and tribalistic, and it gets people really heated. It also plays into our human desire to be right and to win, and into our human struggles with admitting that we are wrong. We don't like to be wrong, and we are inundated with media that 1, tells us we are right, and 2, tells us to never admit that we are wrong or to apologize. That is a toxic and dangerous combination. As I just said, organizations should encourage employees to talk about what is happening. Saying don't talk about something or that it's not appropriate for the workplace is both wrong and ineffective from actually stopping those conversations from happening. But those conversations should have ground rules. What is expected of people in the professional setting, I suggest prioritizing curiosity and engaging with open-ended questions, not leading questions, not gotcha questions, not what about questions, and a huge focus on connection and sharing, not on point scoring or dunking on people. Gloating and denigrating people does nothing to change anyone's mind or bring people together. Number 5, include political beliefs in anti-bias and anti-harassment policies. Part of being a good community is setting ground rules for engagement, and it is completely unacceptable to disparage or bully anyone for their political beliefs. Number 6, have clear standards for when the organization speaks. A good place to start is when anything impacts the organization, its people, its stakeholders, and its communities. A note here, saying nothing is a choice, and it actually is still saying something. It communicates a message. Companies that say nothing lose control of the narrative. People will fill in the blank with their own interpretations, and the company will typically look bad for having been silent. People come to their political beliefs based on their lived experiences, what they're taught growing up, what they're exposed to, who they spend time with, the media they consume. A person's sense of self is often defined politically, making this deeply personal. Organizations should take political positions that advance their work. This includes speaking out for and against issues that impact the company, its people, its stakeholders, and its communities, but organizations should not be echo chambers in which political thought is policed and those with differing views are punished or pushed out. They should be communities that are welcoming to diverse groups of people who can engage each other productively. And I believe and know that organizations can do both. It's hard work and it will get messy, but it's the only way forward. Otherwise, we're just giving into cynicism, encouraging or exacerbating polarization, and dooming any chance we have for something better. Thanks so much. That's a wrap. I'm Jamey Applegate, and that's your DEI Minute for today. Thank you for listening. Please be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts, and don't forget to leave us a review. If you ever have questions, please visit our website or send us an email. You can also sign up for our newsletter and follow us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Links to everything can be found in the episode notes. This episode was edited and produced by Podgrowth, with podcast art by me, Jamey Applegate.